And if you're suffering a personal trial, you should have an out to say, well, let me go take care of myself. I want to know from Minister Hashim and Zinga how you do it, and I want to know why you do it, Hashim and Zinga.
First of all, give Dr. Shabazz a hand. You know, the Bible says the truth shall set you free, and the truth is sometimes painful. But I was drinking me some Hennessy and Coke. And I got trapped by a friend who showed me a tape of Minister Louis Farrakhan at Malcolm X College in his 25th anniversary. And in that tape he said, you don't know Malcolm. And if you did, you got to build a character of Malcolm. He said, Malcolm, I seen Malcolm. Malcolm only ate 1 meal a day. Never seen Malcolm wink at a woman. Never seen him late to a meeting. Right before he needed to walk in, he walked in. And he said in that tape, go read his book. I was a truck driver. I almost got divorced because I stopped and bought that book, and it took me 2 extra days to get home. I stopped in every truck stop and every rest area on the way to Texas from Florida. That's right. Reading your father's book. When I got home, I started teaching children Black history. And so when Attorney Shabazz say, how do you do it? You do it because Harriet Tubman done it. Under worse conditions. You do it because Frederick Douglass done it. You do it because Ida B. Wells done it. You do it because Sir John Troop stood on a wagon and say, ain't God still God? You do it because Dr. King, under the most critical situations, answered the call. You do it because people have suffered much more than us. You stand on a foundation that teaches you you cannot not do it. And so when I seen Malcolm X tell his story, I wanted to tell it to children because I never heard it. I ain't had a drink of Hennessy since. Because Malcolm didn't drink. And I taught, I couldn't hardly read or write, but I taught every child in Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Grand Prairie, and everywhere I can round them up, Black history. And if you take the effort and don't make damn excuses. I had professors catching me on the Tom Joyner show and the Grant Street show, because I was all over the place. And they started coming to my classes, giving me real curriculums. They say, you're almost there, but you need this. I had Professor Delaney at University of Texas Arlington say, you ain't got to pay, just come sit in my class. And I learned about how great we are. And then your mother, we got to say Dr. Betty Shabazz. I keep hearing people say Shabazz. Because with all those children, she still went and got that doctor. But when Malik was talking, I was just thinking of certain things that, because the spirit of Malcolm is here. But the spirit of Dr. Betty Shabazz is here. And I was watching Dr. Betty Shabazz get with Medgar Everett's wife. Got with Dr. King's wife. And they started coming together because all of them had lost their husbands, and now one of them over 39 years old. And they started bonding as women. And you was there. And then women started meeting together, and they was showing us what Maya Angelou said, we still rise. And I was thinking about something that's not talked about, but it needs to be talked about a hell of a lot more. And that's the Honorable Malcolm X's father. Her grandfather is not mentioned enough. He was a Garveyite. Most of all, I want to say this in closing. When you study, what if W.E.B. Du Bois, the great man of Harvard, would have worked with Garvey? What if they would have worked with Booker T? What if all the connections that fell apart would have worked together? We might not have to be in this room talking about these subject matters. We have to stop being so quick to disunify, to break away from each other over, most of the time, pettiness. What if Cleavers and Huey would have stayed together? What if our great Kwanzaa right and us would have stayed with the Black Panther Party? Huh? Why do we don't understand our own tragedy and keep repeating it? That's why you can say what you want about me, but I ain't never saying nothing back because I'm out of time. Because we got work to do. And that's my answer.
All right, we're working this thing now. We had the discussion last night on the 5-year Black National Economic Plan. It's not over. Our economists are still working on the plan, and the plan will be presented right here on Sunday, where we pass our resolutions on a concrete 5-year economic plan that the organizations here will be asked to endorse, and will present it to our people as a reasonable 5-year roadmap of what we should be doing, where we should be buying, where should we not be buying, where should we invest, where should we stay from, and how do we push forward on the issue of black economics and personal economic empowerment for black people. We're going to bring it back here on Sunday, and the scientists and the scholars are working on it right now. Now back to educating ourselves. Now we talked about ShabazUniversity.com. Now I have a man here that has taught at the best universities inside of America. The best university that they have, the Ivy League schools, right? What they say. I mean, I'm from Howard University now. I'm going to raise an objection to that. They may have more resources, but we're much tougher at Howard. However, what I want to ask Dr. West is 2 questions. Dr. West, if you were the chancellor of your own university, what would you teach? What would be in the curriculum? And what would your objectives be? Huh? They've had our best at their universities. And certainly he's needed in there to train some of our best that go in there and to straighten out some of their best with one of our best behind enemy lines. And I also want to say this, because I got some people that have criticized, well, whatever they said about Dr. Cornel West, and you know how we like to pick fights. Let me tell you this. There's some real nasty people that had came at him about me. Them nasty people with some power that started writing some stuff and coming at him about us. Told him, don't be around us, don't come around, and damn near threatened him and threatened me. Where is he at today? Where are you at today? Dr. Cornel West, this relates to your question, Brother Kamal Shabazz. You said, with all of the intelligence and influence that's present on today's panel, how do we package that and present it to the youth of America that would much rather play video games and behave irresponsibly on social media? Dr. West, if you had your own school, your own university, your own education system, what would you teach and what would that be composed of, Dr. Cornel West?
That's a tough question. We've been here until the morning. But I can tell you this, that the fundamental aim of an education is to produce a free woman and a free man who's willing to take a stand and straighten their backs up, to be critical of themselves but be in connection with the best of their history. Sankofa is real.
Talk about it.
And Sankofa means you are connected to the best of your past before you even engage in your conception of a future, because so many of the greatest folk are dead. And if we can learn from the great dead, then the mediocre living can be changed and transformed. And education is about fundamental transformation of heart, mind, and soul in order to be free, such that you love the truth enough to get yourself in trouble and be a sacrifice for a cause bigger than you.
Right.
Now there's a whole lot that goes into an education in that regard. You got to have certain kind of economists who look at the world not through the lens of Wall Street, but through the lens of the new Jim Crow. How is it that we have a predatory capitalist system with imperial policies that could allow for mass incarceration of some of the most creative and courageous folk who end up channeling their rage in ways that get them criminalized? What kind of history department do you need? You have to have a history department that uses as examples and exemplars free thinkers who were willing to pay a cost. Now Harvard, they used to say about Harvard has ruined more Negroes than bad whiskey. It's true.
I heard that.
Oh, no, because Harvard's a ruling class institution. It's done a lot of damage. In the context, I was blessed to study under a brilliant, magnificent intellectual called Shirley Graham Du Bois, who was the second wife of Du Bois at Harvard.
Wow.
So that Harvard is a place where there's some space for some free folk, but there's not a whole lot of free folk there. So, and this is true in any university.
Let me jump in real quick.
Sure.
Stay right there. No, stay right here. Let me ask you a question inside of your question.
Yes.
At Harvard, what have been some of your toughest challenges being a black professor and a teacher of truth inside of that environment?
Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, you know, I got in the fight with the president, and we started almost swinging like Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali. And so I had to leave and ended up went to New Jersey. So I think the biggest challenge that I had, and I published the book Race Matters in 1993. And the Million-Man March was just emerging. I was asked by Minister Louis Farrakhan and Ben Chavis to go around the country to highlight that march. And that particular march got me in a lot of trouble. Because when I went into the faculty meeting, you got a whole lot of Jewish brothers and sisters on that faculty who viewed me as an anti-Semite. And I said, no, I'm just loving black men, loving black people, loving Palestinians, loving Arabs, loving Muslims. And as a revolutionary Christian, as I said, just like my love for colleague Abdul Muhammad, I don't have to agree with everything, but I'm not going to allow nothing to get in the way of my love of him. I'm not going to allow nothing to get in the way of my love of any of the folk. But that's my own conception of what it is to be a revolutionary Christian. But if you're going to do that, then you're going to have to pick up your cross and be willing to serve and have to undergo character assassination, and not yet literal assassination, but willing to do it. Because when I did have it, some folks show up with shotguns they put to my wife, and I had two folk in my driveway with shotguns waiting for me. I did get a call from that was 1995, owing to the Million-Man March.
What happened?
You see. Now I got a call from the minister. He said, I'm going to send out the FOI, Brother West. I said, brother, I appreciate the love, but me and the Holy Ghost going to work this thing out. And I moved. I got out of that neighborhood quick. I had to stay in a hotel with 24/7 security for a little while. But all that meant was, for me, I must have been doing something right. Because it meant that to be targeted in that way means you constitute some kind of force. And as a Christian, I want to be a force for good. The kingdom of God is within you, that everywhere you go, you ought to leave a little heaven behind. That's real. That's love, that's justice, that's laughter, that's struggle. And especially at the center of my university, and this would be the most distinctive university in the whole world, would be Curtis Mayfield. Would be Nina Simone. I put the music at the center. Because if you really want to have an experience of black power at its deepest level of your soul, you just stay in contact with the best of our musicians. And that soulful power, that spiritual power allows you to love yourself and respect yourself in such a way that you can translate it into an economic and a political power. But if you think you have political power and your soul is not intact, then you're about to sell out pretty soon anyway. Because there's always some more money somewhere that they can dangle at you. But when your soul is right, then you're willing to bear down, to throw down, and to be a marathon runner. And that's what we love about Malcolm. I keep coming back. And I'm not saying this just because my dear sister sitting here. You know, I say this here, white people say, on the radio show. Didn't we have that dialogue on the radio show? And you raised the question, Brother West, I thought you was a Martin Luther King Jr. You've been talking about Malcolm for 45 minutes. I said, I got to tell the truth. I got to tell the truth. I'm not putting Martin down. It's just Martin was too scared to embrace Malcolm. And I love Martin. Malcolm was willing to embrace him. Let's meet. Let's talk. Martin said, oh, no, Malcolm's too revolutionary. He's too militant. I got to make sure the mainstream doesn't push me. And I got to be concerned with white fears, insecurities, and anxieties. And I love Martin, but Martin was wrong. We got to be free enough that we embrace folk that a whole lot of white folk have said some vicious things about, and we say, we think for ourselves, we choose who we want to love, and we work with who we want to work with, even as we preserve our critique. It's very important. You don't have to be a Garveyite to know Marcus Garvey's love for black people was immeasurable. And that's true for folk across the board in the struggle. I'm sorry to go on so long, but I do want to accent this role of freedom and love and taking a stand and being willing to live and die. When this brother's wrestling with his illness, what an inspiration to us.
Amen.
Oh my God.
Amen, right.
If anybody had a reason to pull back, this brother did. Hashim had it. We prayed on the radio. You host some way. You know what I'm talking about. That's exactly, you know what I'm talking about. All their witnesses. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
For those of you who are watching on the webcast, this is an historic evening. You have on this rostrum, you have Dr. Cornel West, one of our great scholars and teachers and activists. You have Baba Buntu, one of our great teachers in the Pan-African world, live right here, coming from South Africa. You have the daughter of Malcolm X, Sister and Professor Ilyasha Shabazz, right here in this room. You have Pastor Ted Sutton, who represents the strongest upcoming elements in the Christian church, right here on this rostrum. And you have the leader of the new Black Panther Party, a struggling soldier under all circumstances, Minister Hashim Nzinga. You need to be excited about this right now. Because this is history in the making up here. And not only is this program history of in the making, we are allies. We are allies in the fight. And this is just a representation of our solidarity. This is just a night in our journey. We are permanent partners in this. And we're talking about building a nation of our own, an economy of our own, a movement of our own. And it takes bringing all of the greatness that we have together and working them relationships to get to this point. Now, one other, I'm going to come down the line here. Great answer, Dr. West. You're not leaving us, are you? Huh? All right, brother. Don't make no errors now. Don't make not one single error. Oh, we got to make sure everything go right. Trust me. Got to make sure everything go right. On Sunday, Reparations Day right here starts 3 o'clock. On Sunday, the American Institute of Human Rights will be right here. Their subject is building a confederated nation. You say, what is that? We have scholars and attorneys and organizations that are taking our cause to the international courts. They're going to be right here dealing with reparations. Reparations on Sunday. I'm talking about the people that are in the trenches and fighting. They're going to be right here. On Sunday, 5:30 p.m. You have a man you haven't heard from, but you must come and hear him. Who is he? His name is the Honorable Silas Muhammad. I said Silas Muhammad. You say, who is Silas Muhammad? Come here on Sunday. He's been a champion at the United Nations for us. He has been a champion in the cause of self-determination. He has been a champion in the cause of human rights. He and his organization, the Lost Found Nation of Islam. Well, who is this Lost Found Nation of Islam? With this Muhammad Speaks newspaper. And Attorney Shabazz, I thought you were with Farrakhan. I am with Farrakhan. I'm one of Farrakhan's sons. But I recognize that on August 21st, 1977, a man stood up when nobody was standing. Yes. On August 21st, 1977, somebody took a stand for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Yes, sir. Somebody took a stand for black nationalism, human rights, and our people. And he has a great presentation and information to share with you on Sunday. I want you back on Sunday. I want you out there on Saturday, and I want every seat back in here filled on Sunday to hear Mr. Muhammad, to hear our reparations activists and activists from all over. They're going to be here on Sunday. And we're going to pass our resolutions on Sunday. What is a convention without a resolution? What is a convention without stating clearly to the people what you're going to do? When the Republicans have a convention, at the end of the convention, they elected somebody in the office. Or they adopted the old no-good Republican Party platform. And we'll have our platform on Sunday. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
This is the administrative work, the labor, the work that goes into building our movement. Now, once again in the audience, I'm going to ask my next question, and we move on. ShabazZuniversity.com. For those of you who are listening, ShabazZuniversity.com. Tune in now. This webcast is live right now. Our university is opening. Don't ask me that silly question about what came out of the convention. Woo! Every scholar that participated in the convention has joined the university, and the show keeps going on and on. Because once we get through promoting, we get back to our desk and it's going to be double trouble. The book of Khalid Muhammad is coming out, and it's coming out in the month of May. The book of Khalid is coming. I'm going to write up a storm starting Monday. And to all enemies of the book of Khalid, buckle your seatbelts, buddy. It's going to be a rough ride if you hate Khalid Muhammad. Because this book is going to magnify him and glorify him and immortalize him. 600 pages, 8 by 11. It's a black Bible. It's a black academic master teaching reference. And it's a biographical account of the man that Dr. Cornel West and all of them spoke about. All right? All right? I don't mean to get so serious with y'all. But this is a benchmarking struggle. I'm coming to you, Dr. Sutton and Buntu. Here's a quick question. One topic wasn't discussed much today was mental health. Somebody who's been going through therapy for almost a year, I can attest to the benefits of therapy. What can he do to change the stigma surrounding mental health, particularly with black men? So y'all gonna make me say, don't go into Scientology, but I won't say that. I would say, don't go into Scientology, but I won't say it. Because I don't want to start no stuff. But I will say, and I want you to address it, I want the panel to touch on it. If you can touch on it. I want to touch on it. I want to say that the stigma around black men accepting mental health counseling, that stigma should be removed. I want to say that if a brother, a black man, if you need help in any way, you should get it. Get it. If you got to go through family counseling with your daughter or your wife, get it. Or your son or your family, get it. How many of you ever engaged in family counseling? How many? 3. You can testify, Mr. Malone. You know I'm telling the truth. I had some issues with my daughter and her mother. My daughter affected by that. I'm not too strong and awesome where I can't go and get somebody to help me and my child. I love my daughter.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
I want to answer the question by saying, black man, if you need that help, get that professional help. That's your personal and private business, but get it. Now, I don't know if y'all agree with me, but you...
Well, no, actually, I 100% agree with you. See, part of the problem is that I think a lot of our culture was that you always don't take nothing outside of this household. Anything that you see go on in here, it was like Vegas. It's got to stay right in. And I say, so you can talk to grandma, nana, or you can talk to maybe pastor. But you could not tell, and a lot of it was this, oh, he just crazy. Or but we have to understand that living in communities where you have watched people get gunned down, unnecessary. When you're dealing with some of the same people that have gone through things and they were able to come back from Iraq, but they were able to get counseling. They were able to come back from the war and they were able to get counseling. See, that was accepted because it was, let's say, in the name of the country. But because Lil Day saw his homeboy get his head blown up, or because someone else was actually dealing with different things with mental health issues, you have to understand that we as a culture was taught that we were to keep these things within. So in saying that, I would say to definitely try to seek some help and see it. It was funny because it seemed like other races, they were proud to say, well, I got a therapist, I got a counselor, and then, but on our side, we would be a little bit more ashamed to share. So I would say, you know, with people going through some of the same stress and mental health issues,
And a lot of people who are incarcerated behind some mental health issues. I think that we cannot just normalize it and just say they crazy, or this person, you know how he is anyway, but we need to try to embrace, and because there's a place for people who are suffering, but they need that healing so that they can be whole and move forward.
Very intelligent answer. Can we say something? Can we in our community agree that we will stop using terms like, that nigga crazy? Have you heard that before?
Yes, sir.
That nigga crazy. That's what they say, right? That's not what I'm saying, that's what they say.
That was my nickname.
Come on, Mr. Nzinga.
As y'all know, the Black Panther Party takes everybody in. And tomorrow we got a psychiatrist, we got a national minister of justice, national minister of defense, a national field marshal, a national this. We finna have a national minister of psychiatry. I'm talking for real. Because what I figured out after Dr. Khalid Muhammad 7 years and at least 13 years, that we deal with some crazy people in this organization. And we need some special help for some of them. I ain't talking about the brothers in here. But seriously, I remember Dr. Khalid was getting ready for the Phil Donahue show. And it was a historical show, all y'all saw it. Right?
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you a story. First thing he did was told me to go to Kmart or Walmart and get him some index cards. I want to tell you the greatness of his thinking. And he got index cards. I wouldn't know what the heck he was doing. He had books everywhere. And then he called Nathan and Julian Harris, the psychiatrist couple out of California. And he asked them all of these questions that sick Phil Donahue could probably ask him. Then he called Dr. Jeffries. Then he called this one and that one. He spent 3 weeks calling people. And so when he went to battle with Phil Donahue, this man wasn't there, but he set the show up because he was taking his bar exam. Law school. But when Dr. Khalid went and sit in that chair, he took psychiatrists, he took doctors, he took scientists, he took gangs, he made everybody, he had all them cards and books, that wasn't for show. They told him what this man would do. And he ate those crackers apart because he understood unity. He didn't go by himself. So when you brag on that, you brag on yourself and us, because that's what he used, the family.
Zoom in over there.
And we're dealing with a young rapper, NBA, all-star NBA young. And this young man is 16, 17 years old. And the world is coming down on him because he's got these issues. So the first thing I did when I got involved, I called Wade Noble and his wife. Because you got to call wife, and like sister said, you got to call wife and brother that's unity to help young people get through their trouble and their trials and tribulations. Because you got to have the woman talk to the man and the man talk to the woman. Because if you bring in the wrong team and it's a woman, they think they're going to take the woman's side. If it's a man, they think they're going to take the. So you got to find couples like Dr. Wade Noble and his wife, Dr. Julian Harris, Nathan Harris and his wife. So we are officially, tomorrow we'll have a psychiatrist on our team because some of us need help. And when you get that help, then you'll go tell somebody else, hey, come here, I was like that. But I'm not like that no more is the point we're making.